Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another reaction. If you're new here, my name's OwenAlec and on this channel I do everything drum related, but I've also started doing things like reactions and other bits of media stuff because they're just a lot of fun. So if you're new here, please do consider subscribing. So today we're reacting to someone I guess can be considered a lesser known drummer. This is Florent Marcadet. Now I hope I'm not butchering that, it could be Florent Marcadet, I'm not too sure. And the band is Hacride. Again, I might be pronouncing this completely wrong, I don't know this band, I've never heard of this person, so I'm just guessing. The song is Treasure This Pain and this is a drum playthrough. Once again, as I say in all my videos, I'm not particularly looking at this from a technical perspective, I'm not a particularly technical drummer, I'm just looking at this of how this sits with the rest of the song, some of the things that he does, and just how good the performance is overall. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. As always, I'll be making timestamp notes on my pad so that we can revisit it afterwards and look at it in a little bit more detail. Nice tightness straight off the bat. That's lots of finesse going on there. Ooh, interesting stack. Great snare sound. Again, with that left foot, I really need to work on that myself. Interesting single footwork there going on. Delicate ghost notes going on there now. Sorry, I don't normally pause it. I'm just going to go back a little bit because I think there was a drum fill there that I nearly needed to hear. That was nice. That was nice. Nice use of accents. nice fast hands. Okay, that was a really nice, interesting piece. Wasn't overly stated in a lot of ways. I think even though it had some parts where he was really kind of going for it and putting in some really nice, interesting things, it was still a little bit held back, I think. He looks to me like he's got the chops to be able to do a lot more, but he decides to kind of just pull it back just a little bit and then shine in certain areas, so it kind of emphasised those. Just by this one video, you can tell that this is a guy who's really worked at his craft, because a lot of what he was playing was very tight. Even though, and this is something I'm going to go over later on in the video, it's actually right near the end. I noticed that his hands and feet, when he's playing, like say a roll on the snare and also doing the kicks underneath it, they're super tight. Now, again, this is something that I struggle with just a little bit, is kind of getting those things absolutely perfectly synced up and things, and it's very, very difficult a lot of the time, so this is something that he's definitely worked on. Let's jump back to 140. We talked about those ghost notes briefly. It's something that I'm a big fan of at the moment, especially with kind of prog drumming. Using a stack in a verse type situation where you're kind of using that as the accent and then using ghost notes and things like that, it's such a nice texture. And again, I've said this before, where stacks are so individual and so unique that you can't almost play the same thing twice with different drummers. It's even though it might be the same beat, it still sounds different because of those stacks. So let's have a quick listen to this. Yeah, so those ghost notes were really kind of delicate, but they still came through. I think that's down to the production as well. But yeah, really impressive with just how precise they were. They weren't sort of all over the place and sloppy sort of thing. I have seen drummers before, you know, either live or in a studio, where when they're doing the ghost notes, they don't come across very clear, and it's just because they're not consistent enough with them. Like the one ghost note might be super quiet and then another ghost note's a bit louder. You want to get your ghost notes like as clean and as consistent as you possibly can. The ones that he was doing there, I think, was really, really nice. But then it led into that fill that he did, which I had to revisit because as I was writing it down, I kind of heard it but missed it. So visually I wanted to see it as well. And yeah, it's kind of a triplet pattern, I think, and accents again on things like the crashes and stuff. And I do a lot of triplets when I'm playing, but they don't ever sound as good as that. So kudos to the guy. Again, something that he's probably worked on quite a lot, I think. But then let's move on to about 220. Had a double kick run before that. His double kick run there is super clean. However, you can notice ever so slight deviations in speed when he was going into it. Now, that's not a bad thing by any stretch, because when you listen to albums and songs that are coming out these days, everything, including all the kick work, is bang on the grid, and it's boring. Every time I hear these songs where the drummer is so snapped to grid that it's just like, yeah, okay, every drummer can do that if they just kind of, you know, they quantize it, or just altering things so much that it sounds too perfect. You can tell that some work has been done to this, whereas on this, because there's ever so slight deviations in the sound, I think a little bit, there's a little bit of difference in the sound, but also things like the velocities, but then also the speed. And that's made it interesting for me. That's something that's jumped out to me and kind of gone, right, this guy, even as tight as it is, it's a human take. It's not been messed with. So it's made me like this even more. I'll just take it back so if you guys can kind of hear what I'm talking about. It's super, super subtle, and you almost wouldn't notice that it's there, but yeah, that makes it sound to me like, again, he's really worked at making sure that that was as consistent as it possibly could be, but it's still the human playing it. So yeah, I really like that. Let's move on to about 330. When he moved on to like a cross stick. You can see on the hi-hat he's got that kind of push-pull thing going on where it's a loud, soft, loud, soft, loud, soft, loud, soft. And that gives a really nice dynamic to what you're playing, so that you've got the pulse still going. You're still filling in a little bit of the extra kind of empty spaces there, but not so much that it's going da 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 da. You kind of got that nice softness in the second one, so it's da 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 da. It has that kind of build up to the song, but without it being too in your face yet, because it brings it up again. Instead of doing it on the cross stick, he actually does it on the snare head, a full proper hit. Something else to note there is that he's very sparse with his bass drum hits. Something I mentioned in the Bard Kolstad video is that some of these drummers, and something that I'm finding out the value of a lot more now, is kind of that less is more in some respects. And when you've got a soft section like this, the temptation is to kind of add a load of bass drums in, doom 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 ba boom ba boom 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 ba boom, something like that. Whereas he's just kind of keeping it nice and boom boom doom 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 boom boom, and just doing those one hits kind of thing. I think it almost adds a bit of suspense to the drumming, because you know that it's kind of building up. So having it a bit sparse in the beginning, in the start of all this build up, and then bringing it into something a little bit more complex later, adds a really nice suspension and feel to it. About 4:15 there was a triplet fill, so I'll just kind of take it back further there. That's a really nice fill. It's again, it's a little bit complex and a little bit sort of showy in a little way, but then it's kind of not overdoing it. I don't know, I sort of explained that, like, it fit really well, and it's just showing off a little bit of the skill of the drummer. It was orchestrated nicely around the kit, I think. You can hear, because of the sound of the toms and the way he was going down the toms, it was a really nice kind of dynamic sound as it went round. So yeah, that was a really nice one. I think that fit, the fill fit with that section of the song going into the next bit really quite nicely. And then lastly, something I mentioned before, I'm just going to go over to that very last bit. Yeah, so the use of the constant double bass underneath doing a fill on top, if that's sloppy, if that's out by even just a small amount, it'll sound like a flam, or it just sounds off, and it sounds really, really sloppy, and it's so noticeable. So the fact that he's been able to kind of keep that as consistent and tight as he has is testament to the fact that he's clearly a very adept drummer. That's a lot more difficult than people think. So yeah, a very, very cool drummer. Very impressed with his performance there. I will definitely be checking out some more of his videos. If I have butchered those names, the band name and his name, please do correct me in the comment sections below. Just kind of spell it out and exactly how you would say it, sort of thing. So yes, thank you very much for that. If you have any suggestions as to what drummer I should react to next, or what song, then please do leave it in the comment sections below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.